Hey, hi everyone. Today I am here. It's a lovely Saturday evening, and today I am with someone very special, and we will have a very deep interaction with him and dig out some life secrets from him. So finally, I have caught hold of him to for this session, and let me welcome him. So, please,
Hi, Arpan.
hi. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
It's quite a long time. It's a pleasure having you in this lovely Saturday evening.
Thank you. And
So-
Corona times, we have not seen each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, of course, the time has changed a lot. In fact, I won't say change; it has evolved. A lot of things has evolved in this COVID times, and of course, it's going to change further as well. I believe.
yeah, absolutely. And I think we have had some conversations and discussions also around these. Many people have approached and they have been asking, how are you doing? And when you connect to them, you realize that everybody is kind of thinking, reflecting on life. So I completely connect with you on that.
So a lot of people who are watching this video might have been watching your videos or have connected with you earlier. So for the ones who have not yet watched Himanshu's video, I would like to say that Himanshu is a life transformation coach, and he has been not only helping individuals but also corporates as well in terms of defining their life, or defining the life journey, in fact. So today we have Himanshu with us to share some of his life secrets which might connect with our life as well. So Himanshu, first of all, I would like to know more about your journey, and I would rather say your path of coming to this point.
So, very interesting question, but I'm not sure if I have a very direct answer to that. Because life itself is a journey, and as you said, life journey. But yeah, so it has happened over a period of time. But one of my trigger points was definitely, one experience in one particular workshop where I had an out of body experience. And when I could relate and connect with it, I realized that it was true. That prompted me on a path of discovery of something beyond the textbooks, which our schools and colleges and parents and teachers never taught us about. And that took me on a path of discovery. And over a period of time, I, of course, went from one discipline to the other, one science to the other, one master to the other. And I was able to understand life a lot more than where I was earlier. So that incident was the trigger point, but it was an entire journey, I think, that has helped me evolve and understand it at a broader level.
So Himanshu, I've watched most of your videos on YouTube and other digital platforms. So what I realized is a lot of videos, in fact most of the videos are about life, or you can say various aspects of life. So a very fundamental question I want an answer from you, that how do you see life, or how do you define life?
Now, most of us think of life as from point A to B, which is probably from birth to death, and all the other sciences around it talk about us as being eternity, where we neither have a beginning nor an end. And I think that's what we call as spiritual studies. Okay? Everything else that falls between birth and death is already there, which is what we have learned in colleges, in schools, etc., etc. How to live a life, how to earn a job, how to earn a living. But I think beyond that is also trying to understand what life is all about. And I always had this question, and I would ask my teachers and my parents, and ask them, who are we, where have we come from, and why will I suddenly cease to exist one day? Because I had seen certain deaths and I was like, where has the person gone? And nobody had an answer. So I think that is a very important and pertinent question to ask. And that also helps you to understand this particular life and how to live it in a better form.
Okay, so very interesting. In fact, I would rather say that that's quite impressive definition of life I came to know today, and it's something I think it's all also about a realization which is from within, which is required to understand the whole concept of life, or you can say the entire phenomena of life. So what's the turning point in the journey of last I would say, I believe it's 20-25 years, right?
Yeah,
25 years you have been into this domain, and you have been helping a lot of individuals, businesses, in fact, to chart their path in the journey. So for you, what was the turning point, or rather I would say, what was that particular moment which actually got you to this whole path of transforming people around you?
Yeah. So it was the incident that I just spoke about a while ago, where in that workshop where I had an out of body experience, and it made me think about who we are and why are we here. And if I experience this, I did not even believe in any of these sciences. So why did I experience this? And are there other people who are experiencing such similar things? And of course, then also to define and say, what are these experiences? And what do they even mean for us? So that was, of course, that turning point. And at that point of my life, I was also going through a lot of struggle, a lot of trying to establish a career, do good in my studies, etc., etc. But I was not able to get a handle on it. And it was only when I turned to these sciences and understand, suddenly there was a calmness, a peace that started begin to descend. I started meditating. I started understanding that life was not only about one particular milestone, and if it is missed, you've lost your life. No, that was not true. And from there, I started slowly expanding it. And now I think my concept of life is, as we just discussed, has expanded. And it probably engulfs the entire universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I can smell from the words which you just spoke is some kind of a spiritual aspect to it, I believe. So can we call Himanshu Shekhar as a spiritual being, or someone who can practice spirituality?
I think all of us are spiritual. Okay, spiritual. If I break it, it's spirit rituals. So rituals for the spirit, and it is beyond religion. Okay, many of people confuse spirituality with religion. Spirituality has got nothing to do with religion. Religion is a way of life. Spirituality is rituals that you can do for your spirit, and which means deeper questioning, which means trying to understand the meaning of life, as you just asked me a while ago. It could also mean defining who you are. If I ask you who are you, you say Arpan. If you ask me, I say okay, Himanshu. But is that what it is to us, or is there more? And spirituality gives you, I believe, that kind of understanding to your life. And if you can develop that understanding, if your life becomes better, then why not embrace it? Why not use it? I think all of us are asking that question. Probably we are not sure. And that is why we get confused. But I do believe that we are all already spiritual people. So if you want to say that, if you have to put a label or put a finger and say, is this what you are? Perhaps yes. But that does not mean that I do not fancy cars, or I do not fancy money, or I don't have desires. No. I am only striving to improve it, the entire experience of it. So if spirituality helps me do it, then why not?
Okay, so what I understand is each one of us are spiritual, but it's just a matter of realization. So somebody realizes it early in life, or maybe somebody realizing it later stage, in a later stage of life. So that's what I believe you mean to say, that we all are spiritual, but it's just a matter of realization at different point of life.
Exactly.
So I have seen most of the people they see spirituality as something which is on the back seat when it comes to science.
Yeah.
So this is a very common perception among people these days. When it comes to spirituality, a lot of people, they feel it's still behind science. There are a lot more there in science. Science has gone a lot more. It has covered a lot more distance today, and spirituality is something that is on the back seat. So how do you look at those kind of situation or a scenario?
In fact, so the definition of science, the root word, if you look at, it means to know. Okay. And science has progressed only in the last about 100, 150, 200 years. Spirituality, how I look at it, is also a science. Yes, of course, it is not there in the labs as you would expect it probably, but it is out there in the life, and there are so many books written about it. There are people who have experienced it who would tell you. It's, I think, all about embracing it and being open towards it. Science observes things and tells you that this is what it is. Spirituality also says, I have done it, this is what I experienced, why don't you follow this path? So for me, there is no difference between science and spirituality. I would call it the science of spirituality rather than saying science versus spirituality.
Okay, so you might have faced a lot of questions during your sessions with individuals and businesses. So what's that one commonly asked question you generally people throw at you when you undergo a coaching session or a transformation session with a corporate or maybe an individual? So what's that one question which generally people throw at you when you when you go for a coaching or a training session?
Well, I think everybody is different. They have their own individual challenges, and probably at different points of time, people have different types of challenges. So I get asked a variety of questions, and yeah, one of the questions that is inherent and implicit, but sometimes doesn't get asked directly, is how can I enhance my life? Why am I actually suffering at this point of time? My intention is to do something better. Okay? So there is an intent, but the impact is not there. So the question of intent versus impact always comes up. I want to do it, but I'm not able to do it. So why is this happening to me? So this is one of the questions that I think a lot of people ask me.
Okay, so I think it's more than 5,000 people you have coached till now in the last 20 years. So what do you feel about today's generation, or you can today's millennials, I would rather say? What is that one thing that is missing, or that can be actually filled up with something, or there is a gap which you feel which can be actually bridged?
For the millennials, especially
Yeah.
for the younger generation,
Yeah.
I think the age is such for them that they are all looking at jobs, at money, at or probably even experiencing life. So probably they have not yet started thinking about life completely. And I have seen a lot of them. Of course, these days what is happening is people get into a lot of relationships, for example, and very early in life. In our times, that was not the case.
Right.
And probably by the time they are 20, they had 3 or 4 relationships already, and heart burns, and So this is one area where most of them struggle, and so they have boyfriend issues, they have girlfriend issues, they have issues with their parents, where they say, I want my life to be like this, but my father is pushing me into. I would say one of the advantages of this generation is that they are far more open than we were, honestly speaking.
Of course.
I think they are pursuing arts the way that we never pursued.
Right.
And then they want to make a career out of it. But yes, one of the struggle is, I want to pursue this, but my parents don't want me, or they think that this will not give me money. So where do I go? How do I do it? My heart is there, but I'm doing something else. And will I really be able to make a career out of this if I pursue? And how do I do it?
Right.
So I think, of course, the principle of life applies to everyone.
Right.
If we understand that and they have the right focus and passion most of them have, it's just a matter of having the right focus and moving ahead. I think that is really helpful for them.
But I would like to just point out one thing, that in our Indian society, if we notice closely, that it's not just about an individual or a boy or a girl. It's more of a mentality of the society. I would rather say the parents, basically. So even if you want to pursue a passion, there's a lot of resistance while you try to pursue your passion, or when you try to go towards your dream, or go towards your whatever you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Because we follow a certain pattern, and people want to play safe, people want stability, people want security. So how do you look at this kind of a setup where security, stability, all these holds a very major position in life?
I think what is stability, what is security? And that for everybody is going to be different. How you define stability is different than my definition of stability, right? I may not feel peace within if I am not able to follow my passion I may be earning money, but I still don't feel settled. So according to me, that is not being stable at all. Right? So everybody is going to define it differently. I would suggest that if you have a passion and you want to pursue it, just go for it blindly. Because there are so many people, and especially in today's India, I think there are opportunities also. If you have that burning desire, if you have the passion, everything else will follow. Money, fame will come. So instead of chasing it, and as Gita also says, focus on your karma and not on the results. If you focus on the karma, which is your actions, your processes, results will come today and tomorrow. So I think the answer is following the passion with as much grit and determination as possible, forgetting everything else which will ultimately follow you.
So you mentioned about opportunities in India. So I would like to know from your perspective, where do you see India in the next 10 years?
I feel that India is going to shine its light on the world very soon. India, I think, is a potential to be discovered. Because before the Britishers came to India, India was already shining bright. I think last 300 years, that is when the light dimmed. And now last 75 years that we have really slowly got the courage to show to the world who we are. I think not just the next decade, but the next century could belong to India. And I'm not saying it out of my love for the country, but I'm seeing where it is now, the potential that it has and what it can show. Especially the secrets that come from the spiritual texts that are here. It is so rich. There is no other country in the world which has this much of texts written only on who we are as an individual and what we can create in this world. And if you go back to history, there's so much that India has already contributed in the past to the world. Zero being one of them.
Absolutely. So I'll just wrap it up with the last question for the viewers who are watching this video. So what is the one message which you want to give it to people in these difficult times, because a lot of people are actually undergoing a lot of stress and anxiety, and I think COVID has actually changed the entire sphere of life actually. So, and of course the media and other platforms, so they are playing a very major role of creating that kind of a distress or anxiety. But again, coming back to the question, what is that one message for the people who are actually very stressed out or clueless or anxious about what's next, what's coming up?
I think 2% of the world has been impacted by COVID, but 98% have been impacted by fear.
Correct.
And all the textbooks that I read on Swami Vivekananda, I think one of the biggest messages that I could take back from them, from him, would be fearlessness or courage.
Right.
And imagine if we could practice it every day. Okay, so what if I know that, okay, I'm going to die tomorrow? I think the day I was born, I knew that one day I'm going to die. Whether it is 20 years later or 20 years earlier, I think it doesn't matter. If I can live this day with complete honesty and courage, I don't think I should be really worried about what is going to happen tomorrow or not. Isn't it better that I live 10 years of my life with complete courage, energy, enthusiasm and excitement than I live 100 years, subdued years? So I think if we can live our life fearlessly, this entire world would be different. With, of course, the meaning, understanding the meaning of life. Fearlessness does not mean harming others, but it means having no fear within and completely enjoying the moment that we have. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, and it was really pleasure having a quite interesting interaction with you after a long time. So thank you so much, viewers, for watching this video, and we're going to conclude it over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arpan. I think you made it very interesting with your questions. Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you.